Isn't the mind also racing, friends? The mind is going into the past and analyzing the situation, or bringing up, similar situations, or it's going into the future saying, how can I get rid of this, right? How do I get rid of this? Should I do this? Should I do that? So there is that flow of past and future happening at the level of the mind. And for the longest time, we have believed that the mind is what helps us solve problems. And because we didn't know any better way, right? So we've depended on the mind for years and decades. So it comes like an autopilot, yeah, just spontaneously. It starts kicking in, saying, I should be doing this. And you think that the thoughts are you, but the thoughts are just a thought process. So we depend on the mind. First, we feel this shouldn't be here. Then we depend on the mind to get rid of it. How do I get rid of it is the next thing, right? And should I confront the person or whatever the thing is, right? Or should I do this? Should I do that? Or should I just switch on TV and, not bother about this? So everything is centered around running away. Okay, running away or not running away, either fighting it or there is a tendency to avoid it in some way, right? They say, right, fight, freeze, and flight, right? These are the three tendencies of the mind, but we know that that doesn't help us. So first thing to understand, friends, I hope you have the map of consciousness open, is that that range of emotions, it starts from shame, guilt, right, apathy, grief. You can see that they're all in red, which means that they are very low level emotions, okay, but they're still in us. They are us, right? Everything is happening inside you. And then there's the orange, which is slightly higher energies. Like you could say anger may be a higher energy than grief. Suppose somebody is just sitting and feeling sad, and then one day, they burst out in anger. It's considered, it's not the perfect way, but at least the energy is higher enough that the person is able to raise their voice or, raise their concern or something like that. So like that, the energies in the map of consciousness keep increasing, right? So desire is higher, and like that. And then in the green zone, you'll notice that there is acceptance, willingness, and neutrality. That is a very, very important part of the map of consciousness, right? Because it is the bridge between the lower emotions and the higher emotions. And when I use these words, I don't mean it as a discriminating thing, but just so that, I can express myself. So the entire, the entire range of emotions are something that we experience, friends. There is no discrimination, and negative and lower vibrations are only used for explanation. So first, the feeling that I should always be happy, I should always be courageous, I should always be at peace. That is a misunderstanding. Okay? As a human being, I will experience the entire range of emotions, and I am willing to, be mature enough now to realize that this is what it is, right? But of course, as you start healing, as you start meditating, you'll notice that the lower vibrations are getting healed, and we are moving more and more towards peace and love. But that's not something we control, right? So whenever we feel angry, whenever we feel sad, whenever, we have, some kind of a guilt or a desire, then realize that it's just a misunderstanding. Because when you were born with the vibration of love. Then through time, conditioning created these fears, created these guilts, created all this should and must and everything else. And so those energies want to return to love. So it's okay to have any of these emotions. That's why a great person like Dr. David Hawkins has created the map of consciousness, right? It's okay to have any emotion. It's not about not having it, but about what can I do when I have it. It's not why it's come. Change the why to what can I do, right? Be willing to walk on both sides of the street. Don't say that I have to face only this, I have to be happy all the time, right? Who said that? Who told you that, right? Okay, is it good so far, friends? So, moment you stop fighting, no, and you stop putting the demand on life that I have to feel peaceful all the time. If you drop that demand, then when there is non-peace, you can be at peace with that. There is non-peace right now, but there is a knowing of that non-peace, and that knowing is peaceful. There's an experience of non-peace, and I'm okay with that. That itself will help you soften and relax. Okay. And then I think nobody is commenting, so I guess it's okay so far. And so then, you look at the lower scale, the red and orange on one side, and look at the higher scale. I don't remember what color it is, I guess. Can somebody tell me what are the higher energies? I know the neutral zone is green. So look at that neutral zone as a bridge between blue and purple. Okay, so shades of blue and purple, right? So on one side you have the red and orange, then other side you have blue and purple, and in between you have the shades of green. So look at that, two different, they're all one, okay? But just for explanation, in terms of experience, they may be different, right? So look at the green as a bridge between the lower vibrations and the higher vibrations. Jamie, it's hard to be with non-peace, but I get it. Needs acceptance. Yes. And that's why the emotional healing guidance is there, Jamie, so that you can listen to the audio and work on that. It is guided, because all these things theoretically, they're very, it feels good. Yes, this is what I should be doing. But when we are triggered, it may be difficult for us to do it. And that's why the step-by-step guidance is there. For those of you who joined newly, I have just shared the audio link. There's also a 30-day course on healing emotions. Okay, so have this imagery clearly in mind, friends, that the red and orange, the lower energies, and then there's a bridge which takes you to the higher energies. The higher energies, being in that blue and purple zone, are love, peace. The energies of in the red and orange zone are what David Hawkins calls anti-life. They don't really help us, they cause us stress, they cause us discomfort. They're not a range of emotions which help us, have good relationships, success. They just keep you contracted. The energies blue, purple, the higher energies are love, compassion, peace. These are the energies which help you achieve success in the most beautiful way, harmonize your relationships, keep the body healthy. And how do we move from the lower vibrations to the higher vibration? Through the bridge of willingness, acceptance, and neutrality. Okay, there is sadness here right now. So what? It's just an experience, right? You're not putting it as good or bad. Something wants to be loved, something wants to be healed. Can I sit with the healing? What can I do? When you ask the question, what can I do? Then you are in that bridge. But if you say, why is this happening to me? Why me? This has happened in the past, right? And you're going into that analysis, you are not taking that bridge. Okay. Yes, Lisa, this is being recorded, and you can email me. I will send you the copy. Hi, Julie. Love and blessings. Yes, love, peace, joy, enlightenment are top quadrant. Yes, Jamie. But how do we reach that top quadrant, friends? It is through embracing our humanity. By embracing our humanity, we will move to our divinity, or rather realize our divinity, because it's already here. There's nothing to move. By embracing our humanity, we realize our divinity. Okay, let that sink in, friends. We cannot run away from the human aspect of our experience, right? And the stories that we read about, spontaneous enlightenment and, that kind of thing. It's happened to a few people, but it doesn't mean that it'll happen to everyone. For many of us, it is through embracing our humanity that we reach the energies of love, unconditional love, and then we become a light to the world, right? Then it doesn't just become about you, it's more about how can I spread this light. It becomes a very giving energy rather than the ego energy is what can I get, right? And it is natural. If you're sad, you'll always feel like, how can I make myself happy? Should I buy that new dress? Should I buy the car? Will that make me happy? Because you are unhappy, right? So it's the ego's way of removing that unhappiness, but it doesn't work. But on the other hand, if you can go to the core of that sadness and heal it, then the love inside, beneath that sadness, will heal that sadness and it will shine through. And then when you go to the higher energies, you are the giving self, because you're already happy, right? So Eckhart Tolle said, the secret is great, but they forgot to mention that, it's not necessary that when the goals happen, you're going to be happy, which was very, very beautiful, right? Very profound. Because the secret and all the manifestation techniques talk about some ideal life which you will have, after you achieve something. And then many of us have seen through the years, it seems to be like a carrot, right? Dangling in front of the horse or something like that, they say. So it is just, another carrot, which is another goal. But on the other hand, if you find that love inside you, then your work becomes an act of love. Your relationships are not about what can you give me. Relationships become how can I serve? But again, no spiritual bypassing, friends. That's the part we have to be careful. We have to reach these energies of the giving self by healing that self which is wounded, by embracing those parts of you that are not shining with love, or have been wounded, have been not seen for many, many years. Yes, beautiful, Sam. Glad that's helping. Yes, there are no bad emotions, like I said, and it's just my the way of explaining it for the session. So the key is willingness, friends. The bridge is willingness, acceptance, and not considering anything good or bad, right? There is a audio called Zen Story, maybe, maybe not, right? I'll not repeat the story, but I think many of you know it, about the horse wandering into, a farmer's land, and every time, there is the neighbors coming in and saying, oh, you're so lucky, and then, the event changes, and then they say, oh, you're not lucky. And every time the wise farmer's response is, maybe, maybe not, right? So we never really know how life is happening, and to put it in a box is stupidity, right? So we just go with the flow of life, and we do our best at every point. And the only thing that we can control to some extent is our emotions. We cannot control the other, we cannot control the world, but what we can do is we can be at peace, right? We can be at peace, we can work on our healing, and we can raise our vibrations. That is something that you're dependent on only on God, right? Or maybe somebody who is guiding you, a teacher or a guide. So then we become 100% responsible for our peace and happiness, and we feel empowered. Does anybody want to share anything? And remember, friends, all emotions are volatile. They're not concrete. They're not, fixed. They're not solid, right? And what is it that can heal the emotion? Love. It is not your analysis. It is not your problem solving skills. It is love that is needed. Love is look at the map of consciousness, it's a high energy. So when we feel something, we can do this right now, friends. If you're feeling, don't choose something very difficult because it's a group session. So just notice something that's, a little like a nagging feeling, or some task that you have to finish and it keeps coming to your mind, or somebody said something which is bothering you. Something on a scale of 0 to 10, around a 4 or a 5. So if we go through the steps, first thing is be aware that this emotion is here right now. This is the human part of me that is dominant right now. So when we are in meditation, when we are feeling that peace, it's the divine aspect which is shining. But the divine is the ever-present reality, okay? But just that experience can be clouded. Like the sky is the ever-present reality. When the clouds are absent, the sky is clear. But when the clouds are present, the sky is still clear. But maybe sometimes the light cannot shine through. And realizing that this energy is something that wants to be seen and wants to be loved. Like a little child crying for attention, throwing a tantrum. You don't tell the child, your theory about tantrums. You don't tell the child, this is not going to be helpful for you, you better stop it. What do? You just, maybe hold the child's hand. Or maybe tell the child to sit next to you. Or maybe you hug the child based on the situation. Because the child cannot understand philosophy, cannot understand psychology. Similarly, these emotions cannot understand your rational or all the books that we have read. They only understand love. So tell this energy, I see you. And pray to the divine that, divine, this energy is something that needs to be loved. I'm not sure how to do it, but you please do it for me. Now you have acknowledged and you have surrendered to the emotion to the divine. You can open your eyes. And just start watching any object in your room, friends, and do it very, very slowly, very gently. Allow your awareness to touch the object. Notice the color. Notice the space around the object and between you and the object. You are in the now. Now is the healer. The divine is here now in your room. You don't have to do anything, just be in the now. No analysis, no problem solving. As you're watching space, friends, you are in the awareness of space, you are in the now. You're not in the mental realm. Notice another object in another direction. Be aware of the color. See it like you're seeing it for the first time. Notice the space again around the object and between you and the object. Now notice all the space in the room, the various colors that are there. Bring attention to the body and gently give yourself a massage. You can continue to keep your eyes open. Just be very, very soft and gentle. Allow the body to relax. Breathe in and out. So you are here now. You're not fighting. You're not following the story of me. You're not suffering. The discomfort may be there, but you're not suffering, right? No blame towards self and other. It's just an experience, an emotion. The act of giving it space and love is an act of love. This is the way of healing. And even this part of, massaging yourself or just touching yourself, comforting yourself is very important, friends. You can just breathe and allow yourself to become softer. It's the softness, it's the love, it is the power of now that does the healing. And just check in on how you're feeling now and let me know, friends. Lisa, very good question. I will answer that, Lisa. Thank you, Jamie. We need these reminders, Jamie, because the conditioning is very, very strong. It just kicks in, without our awareness. Let me know how you're feeling, Patricia. Calm. Wonderful, Patricia. So that's all it needs, friends. It needs our awareness. It needs our attention. It needs our softness. That's all the emotion needs. It's not there to make you suffer. It's just, it is suffering itself, right? And we don't have to add another layer of suffering to that. Safe, beautiful, Elizabeth. Thank you so much, Ronnie. And the same guidance is available in the audio and in the course, friends. It's a little more detailed, of course. At ease. Beautiful, Joshua. Ease is our natural state. Being at ease is our natural state. Just veiled by our conditioning and the emotions attached to that. Okay. So Lisa asked a beautiful question. What is love? And I'll just explain this with an example, friends. Suppose, you meet me and I'm talking to you, but I am on the phone, half the time. Or, I just keep looking if there's any notification. Or you're talking and I just say, excuse me, I need to come back. And I'm constantly not giving that undivided attention to you, right? Then is that love? Will the other person, if you meet me, will you feel the love from me? No, you will not feel it, because for me, something else is more important, not you. But on the other hand, if I'm there with you, giving you space and, really, just feeling that you're the most important thing, this meeting that we have is the most important thing. There's nowhere else I would rather be, right? And there's nobody else I would rather be with than with you, right? And it doesn't have to be, always about, I'm just talking in general terms of the word love, right? And if I give you that kind of attention and genuine care, okay? Genuine care, not a practice. I just feel like, oh, this is a beautiful opportunity. I remember I met somebody from Inside Timer, Rima. She's not in the live now. But it was such a beautiful meeting. We were like so happy that we could meet. She had come to India. So if I can give you that kind of care, that kind of, and you can give me that kind of care, it would be love. So sometimes I feel like, the simplest way of saying love is when you can give your uh, care, tenderness, attention to something or someone, uh, and just being there 100%. Lisa, that's what I feel. So when emotions come, we are not with the emotion. We are like, how do I get rid of it? And that's not love, right? And again, it's not a criticism, personal criticism. It's our conditioning. So it takes some time to understand that this is just an emotion. It's just part of me that's not loved. It's not dangerous. It cannot hurt me. It's not here to punish me. Thank you, Katie. This is something that, even I felt, so beautiful it was when it came to me like that. I don't know whether I read it or it came to me. So even if you're sitting, you have your house plant, and instead of thinking of 100 things, if you can just be with it, or when you're watering the plants, if you can just touch the leaves or just say, I'm here with you, you know, and be there 100%, the plant will feel your love. I recently read that, they did some kind of a test where, the owner of the house is whatever, the person who takes care of the plants is away from the house. And now, then they can, they check the, they connected the plant to some instruments, and the frequency was at one level. But the moment the caretaker, the person, the owner of the house started coming closer and reached the house, the frequency was very, very different. It was higher. So everything is love, everything is God. We are all connected. Like all the characters in the movie screen are connected. They're all one, actually, not connected, they're all one. So like that, even Ramana Maharishi said, all is one. Right? We're like, just this whole body is one, whether, you call it face or you call it hands, you call it neck, but it's all one. Right? So we are all connected at a very, very deep level, just like the waves are all connected to the one ocean. Okay, so we can, feel that energy of another. And love is something that can connect us to the others beautifully, but often we are connected to others with expectation. We are connected with resentment. We are connected with the past, what they did and what they didn't do. But we're not connecting with love. So we have to see what is blocking me from love. And that's where the healing will come in. Thank you, Nani. Yes, Patricia, it's a beautiful way of connecting, and that way when we start, with family, we start with plants, we start with animals, and then you realize that it is all me. And even if you don't realize that, it's okay, because sometimes it's fine to just have the theoretical understanding. The actual understanding may come when the right time is right. I'm with my cat right now, and I have opened up to love her, and she gets my full love and attention. Beautiful, Noni, yes. And the big block now for us is, the cell phones and, all the different gadgets. So please be aware, friends. It is just a false promise, right? It's a habit, and as much as possible, see, that you can stay away from that and use it more for functional purposes rather than that psychological kind of a, addiction or pull. Thank you, Katie. And you can listen to the audio Attitude Towards Emotions. It is the same explanation in a slightly different way. Yes, it's a wholehearted. Yes, that's a beautiful word, Nani. It's a wholehearted feeling. You're not fragmented, right? Part of you is here, part of you, you're thinking about work, or what do you do when you get home, how's the traffic, right? And it can arise. It's not that, maybe you're talking to somebody and you're worried about the traffic and you have to get home. That's fine. I'm not saying, we have to follow it 100%, but just that awareness of it is enough. Then you can be aware that, okay, there is a little worry about the traffic. Maybe I'll tell my friend that, we'll wind up today and we'll catch up another day. That is fine, right? It's practical, right? But if you're torn and thinking, how do I tell my friend? Is she going to feel bad? Again, you're causing suffering for yourself, right? Isn't there a quote? Love is a bridge between you and everything. Was it Rumi? I'm not sure. And he also said, wound is where the light enters. How do we bring love when others don't? Okay, good question, Patricia. So, love is looked at as an energy exchange very, very often, but in reality, it is not an energy exchange, Patricia. It is a state of being. It is your consciousness. It's not something somebody gives, right? It can be reflected or it can be shared, but it's not necessary that somebody has to give it. So first we have to understand what is love, right? And luckily I have this book here. I'm just going to read from that. Yes. David Hawkins. Love is a way of being. It is the energy that radiates when the blocks to it have been surrendered. It is more than an emotion or a thought, it is a state of being. Love is what we have become through the pathway to surrender, pathway of surrender. It's a way of being in the world which says, how can I be of help to you? How can I comfort you? How can I loan you money when you're broke? How can I help you find a job? Lovingness is a way through which we light up the world. Typically, people think of love as romantic love, as in honey and sweetheart, but romantic love is only a minor part of the human lifetime. There are many types of love other than personal romantic love, and they infuse our everyday experience, like love of pets, love of family and friends, love of freedom, love of purpose, love of the country. Love facilitates healing, it transforms life. Once you become loving, there are certain things you can never do again, and there are certain things that you do in the energy field of love that are impossible otherwise. Moreover, people do things for you that you would not do for others. Love makes possible the miraculous without labeling it as miraculous. People who are hateful will, in your presence, suddenly become more loving, more willing to forgive others. Forgiveness is an aspect of love that allows us to view life from the viewpoint of grace. We forgive ourselves for the errors we made and we are less evolved. When we were less evolved, it's helpful to see the ego is a small part of ourselves as a cute little teddy bear. The teddy bear is not bad, we don't have to hate or scold it. We love it and accept it for what it is. We transcend the smaller aspects of ourselves by accepting and loving them. This is beautiful, right, friends? This is Letting Go, the Pathway of Surrender, David Hawkins. We transcend the smaller aspects of ourselves. We can also say the smaller truths by accepting and loving them. We see the ego is limited, not bad. The more we love, the more we can love. And where do we begin, friends? We begin with ourselves. Loving ourselves. Stopping that fight within ourselves. I remember one time that, I was constantly having this critical self-talk. I'm not smart, I'm not good enough. And I would always, go on the street, there would be the maps, but I would lose my way. And, I would be circling the same place for half an hour or something. And that same inner voice kept saying, oh, you're so dumb, you're not good enough. And it took me some while to realize that, oh my God, I'm making this into a story, right? And then from that time, if I lose my way or anything, uh, you know, it is fine, right? So the other day I was traveling with my mother and sister, and I missed that particular turn twice. And actually, they were not very familiar with the area, but they were realizing something is not okay. And my mother said, I seen the statue, earlier, And then they were like, how are you joking and laughing? If I was driving in the city traffic and I was lost, it would really show. So what happens is, it's no longer so personal. Yeah, okay, I lost my way, so what? So you start becoming very kind to yourself, and you start looking at life a little more lightly. So love begins with us, friends. Before we can move to the other, it is about ourselves. And in the course, I have a chapter on healing your relationship with your divine parents and your human parents, which is also a very, very important part of opening yourself to love, right? I can talk more about it, but I think maybe I'll do that in the next session. So rather than how can I receive love, you can see what is blocking me from love, right? How loving myself. So start with yourself, then start with your parents, see how you feel about them. So as you work on these wounds that we have, the lack of love that we feel, your heart will open up to more love, Patricia. And then it doesn't matter, Patricia, if the other person loves you or not, because we have a misunderstanding. Love is given to us by somebody, but when you realize that it's in my own heart, then it's possible that the relationship changes, and the person, maybe you and the person are connected. Just for example, it may not be true in your case. Suppose there's person A and person B, and there's an energy of need and expectations that it's connecting them. So need and expectation. So when A approaches B with need and expectation, B feels uncomfortable and moves back, right? And then A approaches with more force, then B moves more back. So need and expectations are heavy energies which are not helpful in a relationship. But if you can see, where does this need come from? Why do I feel this person has to love me? Why, if you understand all that, and then if you heal yourself, then you and A and B are connected with love, not with heavy energies like desire, need, and expectation. But I want to say, friends, there is something that you have to be careful of. That if the relationship is not healthy, if for some reason it is not healthy and not helpful, don't use this for spiritual bypassing. You have to ask yourself, if my friend was going through this relationship and this person was treating her like this, how would I feel? So it has to be fair, right? It has to be fair. And if it's not, you have to do what is right for yourself. I hope that's clear, friends. Spirituality is not a way of becoming like a doormat. It's just that we will take those decisions more from the heart, more from peace, more from, yes, this relationship is not good for me, and I need to do something about it, right? Not bypass it with, oh, it's all love and I can be the love, and not like that. When love is unconditional, there is no attachment, expectation, hidden agenda, or bookkeeping of who gives what to whom. Our love is unconditional for whatever we are and whatever they are. It's given without requirement. No strings are attached. We don't expect anything back when giving. We have surrendered all our conscious and unconscious expectations of the other person. Thank you, Joshua. So the ego can misunderstand any teaching or misinterpret any teaching, friends. So always use, your caution. Work with a guide if you're not sure. Make sure that whatever is happening, it is fair and you're not covering it up with spiritual concepts. I know people, who are in abusive relationships and they just stay there saying that, it's all love. I can change the person. It doesn't work like that. nobody should, it has to be fair, right? Adya Shanti says it's a spiritual bypassing. He doesn't use the word bypassing, but it's like putting a cart before the ox, right? So we have to work our way towards that understanding, not force it. Okay, we'll do one short meditation, friends, becoming aware of the breath. Noticing that breathing happens 24/7. It's not something that you make happen. You don't make it happen. It is happening. Become aware of the movement of the in-breath and the out-breath. And ask yourself the question, who is breathing? Who's making the in-breath happen? Who's making the out-breath happen? And don't allow thought to answer that. Thought is not an entity, it's just a thought. The moment thoughts arise, friends, come back to the question, who's making the in-breath happen? Who's making the out-breath happen? Keep your awareness only on the breath. If you get distracted, not a problem. Bring your attention back to the breath. Even one of the most primordial functions, breathing, is being done for you. Ramana Maharishi said, why do you insist on carrying the suitcase on your head when the train is carrying you both? Place it down, relax. Let go, let God. Know the truth, and the truth will set you free. The truth is, you are this formless presence, or you're one with this formless spiritual self, your higher self. You're never separated from life, you're not separated from anyone or anything. All your good is in your own consciousness. All love is in your own consciousness. The very act of seeking it outside is suffering. Seeking is suffering. Be here now. And be as you are. Don't add ideas. Whatever your direct experience is, be as you are. In the spiritual consciousness, there is no past or future. Every moment is new. The more you can be in this newness, more you are opening yourself to grace and new possibilities. We don't have to carry that story of the past. And even if we pick it up unconsciously, we can drop it back. It's not needed. And if we can't drop it like that, we know we have to heal. Be aware of what stories you're carrying about yourself. About your body, about your relationships, about success, about money. These are what is holding you back, friends. Your higher self is a field of infinite possibilities. And your higher self is the real self.